Welcome to I Caught It on Audio. This is Water Cooler Chat Episode 1. Moon Knight, Season 1, Episode 1.
Hello, welcome to 64 Tacos Podcast. I Got It on Audio. Today we're going to be starting a new series of water cooler talks about the Disney Plus show Moon Knight. So we're going to go week by week watching each episode and kind of have a little short discussion about what we thought and what we hope for is going to come up in the upcoming episode. So, Matt, I think you're probably the one who knew the most about Moon Knight coming into the series. What were your thoughts on this one?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. You got the mystery of what's going on at the beginning, and it's you're pretty much caught up to speed by the end of the first episode. I thought it was a really good start to that world. A villain was a little weak, but he's got time to get stronger. So.
Yeah, so I think I know absolutely nothing about Moon Knight. I've never even heard of Moon Knight. I'm not very savvy when it comes to comics. So I know what Matt tells me or what the movies tell me, and they have told me nothing about Moon Knight so far. This was a lot of fun. I thought what was interesting was, you're right, trying to figure out what's going on is often the best part of these shows, and what I hope does not happen is what happened with Scarlet Witch, where I feel like the strongest parts were closer to the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
With that show. So I hope it doesn't sort of, it's this weird thing with Marvel where I'm like, some of these shows I'm super excited, and then someone shows up in a costume and I'm like, oh, now we're turning back into a regular Marvel thing. And, that's maybe me, just being dumb, but I thought it was really interesting. And I thought a really cool thing they did was when he's not in control of the body. First of all, the dialogue is kind of fun between him and the other, but I love that that they didn't show you what happened. You just sort of were like, okay, and now I'm back, and what did I just do? And then one of my favorite lines was, did he just throw that gun? I love that. He's like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'll throw the gun. Yeah. So I thought it was a really fun watch. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to learning more about what's going on.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac is amazing. I've always loved him as an actor, even when he's just kind of phoning it in with like the Poe Dameron and the Star Wars movies. Yeah. He's still amazing, and this really, he could shine because he's playing multiple personalities, multiple characters. So I actually watched the episode twice, and the second time through, I noticed some really cool stuff where, like his reflection in certain mirrors or reflecting surfaces, sometimes he's doing different things than what the actual character is doing. So there's some really cool stuff there. It doesn't happen very often. It's more towards the latter part of the episode, but if like you're looking at a mirror or like a piece of glass or something, the character, or like what his other personality is doing something different in the reflection than what his body is actually doing in the scene. Right. So they did some clever stuff with that. And yeah, I also loved the omission of, what happened, and now there's blood on his hands, and now he's got a gun and the guy is dead. And, and so it's just like these quick cuts and something happened, but you don't know exactly what. And yeah, they really did a great job of keeping the suspense, keeping the mystery, but also kind of like wrapping it up towards the end. I think the only thing that I really didn't like is I got a huge Venom vibe from the disembodied voice. It felt a little too much like how they did the Venom movies. But that's not really a huge complaint. Like, it's just just a side thing, like, whatever. It's probably not even intentional either.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about it was the inclusion of the Egyptian mythology into all of it. I really liked the weighing of the souls, to determine whether they the people got to stay or leave or die, I guess. And how it was, they actually had, they were acting out the actual, rituals that ancient Egyptians believed to be what happened in the afterlife. I thought that was really neat. And then I'm curious to see how much more they include in that. Because, we haven't really touched much on, we've got some Norse mythology and some Greek mythology in the MCU right now, but it'll be good to have to include the Egyptian, because there's a whole wealth of information and storytelling they can use just based on that alone. And if they do it right, and to incorporate into the rest of the universe, it'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that part.
And Ethan Hawke was also cool.
Yeah. No, Ethan Hawke was. I like Ethan Hawke. Matt said
I did too.
He's a little bit underwhelming, and I could see that. But I
he started out kind of whelming, but then it ended as it went on.
You were whelmed.
Yeah,
I have.
But hopefully,
I was whelmed by the end of his performance.
I have confidence that he'll be able to pull it off, as long as it doesn't get completely mishandled in the writing end, because he's very good.
He's got to be somewhat of a badass if he's walking around on glass all day long.
Yeah.
Right.
So, quick question for you all: what did you think of the accent that Oscar Isaac used for his main character, Steven? What's his name?
I thought it was fine.
I
didn't think anything of it.
I was distracted by it at the beginning. I kind of feel like if I were British, I would have been mildly offended or angry if I was the sort of person to get annoyed at accents, which it seems like a lot of British people are. I wasn't sure if it was convincing or not. I'm just trying to insult an entire island, an entire continent.
I'm going to insult these people by telling them that they get insulted by generalizations, by generalizing something about them.
That's just the impression I get.
It's kind of... It's pretty interesting about it is the fact that he's doing the accent as one of his personalities. So at least I got that impression from the phone call with Layla, that she's like, why are you doing this accent? What is this? That's not a part of whoever he actually is. He's probably not British. He's just doing that because he's living in London right now. I mean, I don't know enough about the background about the character and the comic book to know what's actually going on, but that's the impression that I got. So if it's a bad accent, that's intentional, and it probably should be.
Yeah, it feels like a slightly bad accent, but it's hard to tell because I'm not someone that grew up there, so it felt a little bit over the top. Maybe it was I don't know. There was a hint of Dick Van Dyke, and it's sort of really going for it, and that's a great way to think of it. If he's doing an accent because he thinks, this is who I am, and if it's a little bit off, maybe that's what they're going for, or maybe it's a perfectly good accent. Like I said, that's what from reading about this stuff. I'm interested in language, and I find that really interesting.
You keep talking about your ability to read like it matters.
It's true.
Geez. I'm Dan. I read things.
Siri spoke to me out loud and told me about the truth. No, but it just seems like British people are more likely to look at an American doing a British accent and be critical than Americans are of British people. We're like, whatever, we don't care. You're British, you're cool. You can do a bad American accent and we won't care. But that's just the impression I'm under. I am full of it, so it's entirely possible that I'm wrong.
I don't think that they really I don't think they care too much. I really don't. Did you guys like his boss, the girl who was always writing him about everything?
Yeah.
Like you gotta do the inventory. You're on inventory this week, and you're late again. And I loved it so much. Like how she was always on him about something, and he just takes it. But until he kind of didn't towards the end there, when he's like, "Hey, there's this guy following me."
Yeah, it definitely has a Scarlet Witch feel to it, where we're definitely not getting everything. I mean, obviously we're not getting everything, but I think the things we are getting are not as they're presented either, So hopefully there's going to be a big reveal for more than just the obvious stuff that we're not getting.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think about the big white bird skull guy?
It was cool. I really liked the effects that they were using. I also liked how it was sparse, so you really didn't get a good look at it. So it keeps the mystery. Is that the character that's in the Scarab? That's like his dark passenger or whatever.
No spoilers.
I believe I'm not talking about it.
Okay. Then I will just assume what I want to assume, and we will unpack that later.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
I was a little worried at first because it started off so weird and was not really tangible, but by the end I was hooked. So yeah.
Give me more.
We'll watch the next episode and see you next week.
All right.
I caught it on audio.